When I was 16, my oldest brother wrote me a letter. In it, there was a sentence that read, "Pain is a chance to be wiser, although I don't know if it's a fair trade." It always stuck with me. And also, what if it is a fair trade? Not just the pain, but the wisdom earned through any big feeling or circumstance we navigate as we move through this life. What if that's the whole point? My belief, take it or leave it, is that we're infinite souls having a human experience. That we come here and many other places to expand our consciousness, learn, and grow. I think that maybe our lives, the very miraculous experience of consciousness itself, is all a chance to be wiser. These conversations and, well, monologues are the reflections of the triumphs, struggles, creations, and wisdom we receive and wonder about along the way. This is a chance to be wiser. I'm Blair, and I'm so glad you're here. Hello. I find it so funny that every time I'm called to do this, it's like end of the day, not feeling cute or clear. But here we are. We answer the call. I wanted to share the following, which is that I historically, honestly, have found the word traumatic to be a little overused. Obviously not in every circumstance, but in the circumstances where I felt like the word traumatic is overused, it just felt a little like lacking resilience or curiosity. It just has felt like a word in the zeitgeist. I say all that to say, I feel comfortable now saying that the last 8 months of my life have been very traumatic. And I wouldn't have said that a few months ago. But what I wanted to share is that I know I'm not alone in that. Year of the Snake and all, I think 2025 was a year that rocked a lot of people. And because that's true, I wanted to share the following, which is that I experienced a lot of reality shattering, huge things back to back last year. And what I thought at the time was me grieving and processing and rallying and getting through it was actually just me in shock and, for lack of a better word, in complete survival mode. But I now, as things are slowly softening, have the awareness that my processing is really just starting. And that is such a gift, by the way. Like, couldn't be more grateful. I was in the depths of despair, which I should have been. And I'm sure I'll visit there other times. But as I would say in the last 2 weeks, there's been a significant shift for whatever reason. I have started to see the light. I have an amazing support around me. I'm taking incredible care of myself. And I'm softening into processing really for the first time because, like I said, I thought I was, and I wasn't. It was shock. But I was at coffee with a friend today, and I was explaining that something came out of my mouth when I was talking to my mom that I didn't know that I was holding. And I said to her that I felt like for the first time this last week has been the first time I feel safe enough to say, oh my God, that was really scary. And I wanted to share that for anyone that needs to hear it because I'm realizing that it's kind of like being in the ocean and getting caught in the waves and just getting decked. And if you come up for air and you don't have time, you can't come up for air and say, hey, shit, I'm really scared. Fuck. SOS, there isn't time. There isn't, like, the survival is, you have to conserve your breath, you have to go back under, you have to make it work. And I'm realizing that I'm coming out of that phase, and it's the first time I've even felt safe enough to say, oh my God, that was really scary. It almost felt like if I said that, something else would fall out of the sky, or I would jinx it, or yeah, it really is a feeling of safety. Is it safe to even acknowledge what a shit show that was? And it brought up a lot of emotion for me, so I wanted to share it in case anyone else needed to be witnessed in that or can relate to it. And it's safe to say because it feels safe to say. And I think you learn about yourself very deeply in that level of the depths of the darkness. And so you're also now resourced to handle whatever may come your way. I know not a lot of people would choose that over what they went through, or the losses they've had, rather. But I wanted to share that. And also that almost exactly a year ago, I had a reading with an amazing psychic here in town, in Nashville, Kim Salter. And as someone that also does intuitive work, I'm obviously like extremely discerning that the people I work with in that capacity are empowering and grounded, and she is all of those things and more. And she said something then that I never could have understood how much I would need to hear, honestly, until now, or the last few months, which is that it was coming through for her, the reminder that I know what magic is, and I don't need to find the magic in real time of the hard things I'm going through. And I think that's a really good reminder for all of us, and it has been a huge saving grace for me, because as someone that has spent their entire life curious about life and the divine and why we're here and the beauty in everything and the magic in everything, I did find myself in the trap of trying to find that beauty and magic in the horrors, the fucking horrors that were happening in real time. And that's such a disservice. And it's not why we're here. And her whole thing was like, you know what magic is, and you'll always be able to find it. And I understand it more deeply now than ever, because journeying to the depths of that, like those levels of despair, like hopefully once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 times in a lifetime's despair, it doesn't feel like a hero's journey. A phrase I repeated maybe 1,000,000 times over the last 6 months is, I feel like I'm at the bottom of the ocean. And I did. And I am not gonna lie to you, I didn't know if I would ever get out of there. I thought maybe I'd have to figure that out and befriend some deep sea critters and learn how to make it work down there and say adios to land and daylight and the whole thing. Couldn't be more serious. I had resigned to experiencing life in a way that felt heavier than I could handle. And like I said, I'm not saying I won't dip my toes back in there, say hello to my pals down there. I know it's a process, but I feel very supported and I'm taking very good care of myself. But I say all that to say, that moment of that much like despair, it doesn't feel like you're getting anything from it. Not that we need to, but it doesn't feel like you can't find the magic because there isn't any. It has to deck you. Like, you have to be decked. You have to be decked, and you have to let yourself be decked. And we are humans, and we feel emotions, and they hold so much information for us. But that process of processing and receiving and getting those tools from that amount of pain, it's not glamorous. It feels like being dead on the bottom of the ocean. You're not aware that anything is coming out of it. You're not aware that you're going to come out of it. But you are. You are going to come out of it, and you are going to come out of it with a hyper sense of aliveness and beauty. More than ever. But you don't need to know that in the process of, I don't know, if we're sticking with the year of the snake, like the shed. So those are my 2 reminders. When you feel safe to come up for air, it is very healing to finally say that was really scary. You can admit that. And when you're ready, because by the way, I only very recently felt ready, and that I wouldn't have been telling the truth if I said it any earlier than last week. So when you're ready, if you can relate, I highly suggest making the declaration that that was really scary. Acknowledge the rough ride and that you got through it. And second thing is, if you're still in the midst of tons of pain and processing, you do not need to look for the magic or the lesson or the understanding in real time. Your job is to be decked. Okay? Your job is to be decked and take care of yourself and show up the best you can. Full disclosure, I have no idea where the last 2 months went. There's a part of me that feels like the end of December was 48 hours ago, and it is March 12th. So it's gonna get wackadoo. That's what heavy stuff is. Let it be that. So I just felt called for those 2 reminders, and this might be a little cheesy, but it's just sitting on my bulletin board right behind my laptop that I'm recording on. And so I thought maybe I'd read this poem. I'm going to read a poem. I went to a grief group last month, and this was shared, and I've shared it with other people I love that have experienced loss in the last few years, and a lot of people have found beauty in it, so I'm going to share it. This is Adrift by Mark Nepo. Everything is beautiful, and I am so sad. This is how the heart makes a duet of wonder and grief. The light spraying through the lace of the fern is as delicate as the fibers of memory forming their web around the knot in my throat. The breeze makes the birds move from branch to branch, as this ache makes me look for those I've lost in the next room, in the next song, in the laugh of the next stranger. In the very center, under it all, what we have that no one can take away and all that we've lost face each other. It is there that I am adrift, feeling punctured by a holiness that exists inside everything. I am so sad, and everything is beautiful.